Zachary, welcome to the show.
Assalamu alaikum, my friend.
Alaikum salam, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. If you please let me some time, and I will explain.
Well, there's a lot of callers. There's a lot of callers, Zachary.
Sorry?
So I'll give you 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay then. The Bahraini people, although they are small, but they are great people, and that they will win this war, and that they will win the battle also. Also, the Gaddafi will go away. That is for sure. And also, I can assure you, the Saudi kings, they will kick out from that place and they will go away to hell. And this is the promise by Allah, is not by these people. And Israel and America, in fact, they want several Israel. One is Israel itself, then Bahrain, then Afghanistan, then Iraq. And that they are planning a bigger plan. This is the new world order of America, that they want to control the whole world. And the whole world, they must oppose what is they are carrying out the massacre of the noble nation of the Bahrain. The entire world must stand against them. And the Islamic world, they must send forces to oppose these savages and the Nazism against the Muslims in Bahrain.
Well, look, Zachary, I can tell that you're as wound up about this as I am. You're as emotional about it as I am. And you'd have to have a heart of stone not to be. But we have to, of course, acknowledge that many Saudi people themselves have risen up against the use of their country's armed forces to invade and occupy another in order to kill people who are arguing for the vote for democracy. This is not some socialist revolution. This is not some communist revolution. This is not some Salafist or Islamicist revolution. This is people asking for the right to vote for a government, just like other people in other countries have, and they're being gunned down. But Saudi forces have this last hour opened fire on their own people protesting in the eastern Saudi city of Qatif, protesting in support of their brothers and sisters in Bahrain. Let's go to Canada, where I was 2 days ago, and talk to Suleiman. Suleiman, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hi, Mr. Galloway. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Which part of Canada are you in?
I'm from Vancouver.
Excellent. I was in Calgary, so I wasn't far from you. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, yeah. Mr. Galloway, I wanted to talk about a few things regarding Bahrain. Firstly, I want to say the whole Saudi presence there, it's what the media is saying now, they're making this whole situation a Shia-Sunni thing, which isn't, it's not only Shia-Sunni thing, there's also Sunni people who are Bahrainis, right? It's Bahrainis in general who are standing up against the government. But now, by Saudi coming to Bahrain, they're making this whole thing Iran versus Saudi and Shia versus Sunni thing, which media has obviously picked up on. So I think it was a strategic move by U.S. Gates, who was in Bahrain. He obviously told the Bahrainis to do, and Saudis to do such a thing. And secondly, I want to talk about the people who say, how could they kill their own people? Firstly, a lot of these police officers, they're from Pakistan. If you look at if Al Jazeera was showing their cards, it says they're from Pakistan or they're from, all these other countries, right?
They're mercenaries. Yeah, they're mercenaries.
Yes, exactly. Like,
if they were in Libya, if they were working for Gaddafi, they'd be called foreign mercenaries.
Yes, because their own people, like the actual Bahrainis who support the government, they're not in the police. They're not lower level police. They're all rich,
no. That's the elite. The only people who support the Bahraini government are the richest small circle in their clique.
Exactly.
They're not down on the street shooting people. They wouldn't know how to hold a rifle.
Exactly. And Mr. Galloway, these people, they will not drop their iPods to go fight. They will not. I'm serious. I've seen it. They will not drop their iPods or their Macs that they just recently bought and it's new to them. They will not do that. And another thing I want to say is that let's look at this in a different way. most of these people coming from Saudi Arabia, who raises them? It's their mothers, right? And their women are kept uneducated. When you keep women uneducated, it raises this whole society of people who don't know what's happening. So they're
Well, Suleiman, I have to stop you there because that may have been true in the past. And I'm, believe me, as bitterly an opponent of the Saudi regime as you are. But I can't allow things to pass which I know not to be true. In fact, 2/3 of the graduates of Saudi Arabia last year were female graduates. So victory to the Arab Revolution in Bahrain and everywhere. That's my slogan. But let's stick to the facts because the facts are on our side. Abdullah is in Lebanon, wants to talk about Bahrain. Abdullah, welcome to the show, my friend. Abdullah?
Good evening.
Good evening. Speak up, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, you have Abdullah with you from Lebanon.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
I agree with you, Mr. Galloway. Don't leave the revolution in the Arab states. And come to Saudi Arabia. They want to play the U.S. in the Middle East.
It's a bad line, Abdullah. I don't know if you've got your television on. If you do, you have to turn the volume down to 0 because we're not able to follow you very well.
Oh. Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Go ahead, sir.
As I said before, long live the people, the revolutionaries of the Arab world in the Middle East. And damn to Saudi Arabia, they want to play the U.S. in the Middle East. What is going on? How can the world stand by looking at the governments killing, shooting people from their backs? There was a picture, a photo we saw on TV. Someone was shot while he was running on his back. Why? Why is this going on? What is happening to the Arabs? What is happening to the Islam? Or are we segregated?
Well, I'll tell you what, Abdullah. Abdullah, one of the things we're going to have to struggle against, and I appeal to everyone watching this, to struggle against this base, despicable attempt to divide the Muslims between Sunni and Shia. The dictatorship in Bahrain is a dictatorship, not because it's Sunni. It's a dictatorship over everybody in Bahrain, except the small elite clique who've grown fat and wealthy from sucking the blood of the people and the country's wealth. This is not about Sunni and Shia. This is about freedom or slavery. You're either with slavery or you're with the slaves rising up to be free. Abdullah in Lebanon, thank you. Sohair in London on the same subject. Sohair, welcome.
Assalamu alaikum, George. How are you?
Alaikum salam. Yes, I'm very angry at what I'm hearing now in my ear. Go ahead.
We are all angry, and you should see the Facebook. It's buzzing. It's just, it's not catching up with what we post and what we say. This is just criminality. There is no other question, you know, any answer to it. They are criminals. They are bloody criminals. And they should be, you know, there shouldn't be any peaceful demonstrations anymore. They should really go and get them all. They really are. What can you say? Yes,
if you're going to shoot down a man with his hands like this, and not a young man, a man probably older than me, if you're going to shoot him down live on television, what are the young people to do? Are they going to continue peacefully demonstrating, or are they going to have to take up arms to defend themselves and defend their communities? This is what these Saudi criminals are bringing down upon the masses, turning the masses against each other.
Arabian Qatif, they are surrounding them. There is 40 tanks going now to Qatif. There is helicopters everywhere. They're scaring them to death because they want to demonstrate peacefully against what's happening in Bahrain. This is not a Muslim country. This is not a Muslim ruler.
As a matter of fact, Sohair, Saud al-Faisal said just the other day, we will cut the fingers from those who interfere in our affairs, just before his army invaded another country. But he also said that politics demonstrations, manifestations of all kinds were un-Islamic and were illegal in his country. Well, if all freedom is illegal in his country, why should the rest of us have anything to do with it? Let's go to East Anglia. Don't think we've been there before. Talk to Juveria on the Middle East. Juveria, welcome.
Hello, George. Peace
Did I get your
you.
name right?
Peace be on you.
Thank you.
And peace be on all the good people of the world.
Thank you.
I just want to ask something. Democracy, we hear a lot about this word democracy. Could you please define it?
I would define it thus, that the people choose their form of government and their governors and are able to remove them. It's really simple. It can be different forms of that, but these are its fundamentals. That no one is governed by anyone whom they did not have a chance to choose and cannot remove. What about you? What do you think about that?
Because if you look all over the world, yes, in some countries in the West, we're called democratic countries. We get a chance to put a cross in a box. But do we really have a say? Do we really have a say in where our country goes and invades? They call it a war. What say do we have? And it's just...
Well, there are severe limitations to our democracy, which often looks more like hypocrisy than democracy. But at least we elect our government and can remove it if we can persuade our fellow citizens that what the government is doing is wrong. And we have to blame ourselves if we have failed to do that, Juveria. But our rights to do so are, at least for this period, uncontested. But in Bahrain, well, I'm afraid they're trapped in a small country, ruled by a tiny clique, elected by no one, removable by no one, and ready to bring in foreign soldiers to kill its own people in order to stay in power. I'll be back after the news with the second half of Comment. It's been a raging conversation, a raging debate. I hope you'll join me in just a couple of minutes after the news. I promise you, you don't want to miss it.